those of you, we did start the meeting at 5:30 with an executive session, so we will resume the select board meeting at this time. Agenda. Any changes to the agenda, Carrie?
I'm going to briefly mention the sale of a used truck at the end of the town manager's report, but I don't think that needs an amendment.
Okay, all right.
No action.
Anything, the board, any changes that the board wants to make?
Do you want me to talk about the Senate Institutions Committee?
Yeah, you could.
Okay, I'll just do it in the public.
Okay. Okay, so with the exception of, you're going to be talking about, what committee was it do you want?
Senate Institutions?
Senate Institution Committee. So we'll make a motion to approve the agenda with a change to it. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, so no minutes?
There should be.
Yes, there were.
But first, we're going to do bills.
Pardon me?
Bills. You got to pay the bills.
Oh, you have to do the warrants, okay. All right, do you have the general warrant, Al?
Yes, but it seems to me that the next issue is the informational hearing for the budget. Is item number 4.
Well, you don't want to do
Just
the other
following
six.
what you printed as the
If
agenda.
that's the way you want to get into it,
Yeah.
okay?
You have to.
So, all right, so we'll open the public information hearing for the FY19 budget. And the warrant is that the legal voters of the town of St. Albans are hereby warned and notified to meet in the St. Albans Town Hall at 579 Lake Street in St. Albans, Vermont on March 5th, 2018 at 6:30 p.m. to conduct an informational meeting on the budget and articles to be voted on by Australian ballot. Voting will take place on Tuesday, March 6, 2018 at the Collins Pearly Sports Center complex located at 890 Fairfax Road from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Carrie?
Yeah, so the way that we had previously done this, at least the last couple of years, is we're going to go over the articles for town meeting day. As have been published, there are 6 of them. The first one is the article to elect officers. So I'll read them, but obviously there's not a lot of discussion. Those are done by Australian ballot. So to elect from the legal voters of said town the following officers: a select person for the term of 3 years, a select person for the term of 2 years, town clerk for 3 years, town treasurer for a term of 3 years, delinquent tax collector for a term of 3 years, a lister for a term of 3 years, first constable for a term of 1, grand juror for a term of 1 year, town agent for the term of 1 year, and lastly, library trustee for the term of 3 years. And that's the entirety of Article 1.
Any questions on Article 1 from the public or the board? Okay.
So Article 2 is our budget. Shall the legal voters of the town of St. Albans authorize the select board to spend an estimated $4,562,617, so $4,562,617 for the town general expenses, of which $3,832,617 is to be raised by taxes.
Any questions? Public or the board? Article 3.
Shall the legal voters of the town of St. Albans authorize the select board to use up to $300,000 of prior year general fund balance to reduce the taxes for fiscal year 2019?
Any questions from the public? Mr. Day?
Question, you're moving that 300,000 as excess for last year, and in my understanding in here, you're gonna use that to pay for a new 10-wheeler truck?
No.
No, that's not correct.
Oh, wow, okay. You're moving that 300,000 forward, but you're also taking money out of the 2 budgets to pay for that 300, for that new 10-wheeler truck, correct?
Well, that's Article.
Yep, that's a different article.
Different article,
But
Dale.
that 300,000 is just gonna be taken off the bottom line of expenses.
Okay, well, when we get down to 4, we'll discuss that.
When we get there, okay.
Yep, for the truck.
Any questions from the board? Okay, Article 4 carried.
Article 4, shall the legal voters of the town of St. Albans authorize the select board to combine all previously restricted Department of Public Works reserve accounts into one unrestricted Department of Public Works reserve account?
Okay, question
Mr.
on
Dick.
that. What is the total amount of funds you have right now in the bank, the monetary amount?
In the DPW unrestricted accounts?
No,
Yeah,
DPW reserve,
all the funds.
Yep, it takes a minute, we don't have them all memorized.
Okay,
the balance as of 6/30/17 was $355,061.40 in the DPW reserve. And what we're asking the voters to do is unrestricted.
How many different reserve accounts did that amount covered? That 360,000 covered how many different
It's
reserve
about
accounts?
8, maybe?
Yeah, about 8.
Okay, so you're combining it into one instead of 8 separate accounts?
Correct, yep, to try to encourage,
Like, one example, I'm sorry.
No,
One
no.
example is, we voted years ago to save $730 for 15 years for auto flagging equipment. So that's the best example I can give. That is all, those different funds have accumulated to $355,061.40. And we're just asking to unreserve it. That's it.
Well, they're still going to be restricted for public works.
that's correct, yeah,
Yeah,
so,
but not for the specific function. For example, the low.
For one specific use.
it more or less encourages a department head, not that we need to encourage Alan to do this, but to spend less money on each individual piece of equipment, get what we
Right.
need, but not more.
Right.
Not, geez, we have 75,000 for that and the truck's only 70, what can I add? You know, I mean, not that he would do that, Alan would not do that.
Another way to look at it too, is if an emergency came up and he needed to buy a truck to plow for the road.
Right. It's still restricted for DPW, it's not to be used for any other department.
Correct.
well, little follow-up here. On page 22, I got a whole list of over here what your balances are
Correct.
on all these funds.
Correct.
Page 22, and also you got 4 certificates of deposit that you had from 2013.
Correct.
You got $502,000 plus in that, and you're only picking up $1,700 interest in that a year?
Well, unfortunately, we can't control that bit.
Wow.
Interest is not
The
great.
problem
right
is, you've got the taxpayers on the hook here, and all this money and all these reserve accounts are sitting up there in the bank, not drawing any interest, and you're talking a lot of money here. You're talking over $2 million to this 1% tax here. And that's, I'm looking at it, you go down through here, you got 5,000, 35,000, 2 million, 100,000, 105,000, 355,000, 400,000, 238,000.
We understand that there's numbers in there, Dick, what's the question?
Well, you got all these reserve accounts here with all this money. You got 4 CDs running here, and there's 318,000 in these CDs.
No, total.
Yeah, total 318,000 in these. And
But these are what the voters voted on, so that's our legal.
I don't think the voters are getting the true picture of what's going on here. Now, you're either going to work for the taxpayers or you're going to work for the stockholders of the bank, one or the other. And that's basically what I see here. You're working for the stockholders of the bank because the town's got a lot of money sitting up in there in the bank being held in reserve and basically not getting paid any interest on it.
So thank you for your comment, but it's inaccurate. I mean, at this point, what we're doing is.
What do you mean it's inaccurate?
Well, I listened to you, Dick. We're gonna
Yeah, well, tell me how it's
stay
inaccurate.
respectful. We're
You
gonna stay
explain how-
respectful
Wait a minute,
for
wait a
each of
minute.
us.
Let's have a little, let's be a little
Explain how it's
respect.
inaccurate.
Dick,
I will, but
let's,
we're gonna.
let's
Go ahead.
dance, let's be a little respectful, okay?
I
to
am.
Carrie?
I just want some answers.
Okay, that's fine, but we're both gonna remain polite. Because those funds, and Anna will confirm this, many of the different accounts you just named off are raised for a very specific purpose. We can't just arbitrarily go, well, there's 300,000 over there, we're just gonna throw it into the general fund to offset
And
expenses.
that's not what I said. I did not say that.
You said we had a lot of funds.
There's another, your issue, Dick, I think, is why aren't we getting a better return on our funds?
Yeah, and I mean, you're not supposed
Now-
to collect any more taxes than you need to fund your government
All right,
each
but
year.
let's go to the interest and the income piece of it. We are somewhat limited into how we can invest our monies. we might get a hell of a lot better return if we pick some stock, Dick Day Construction Company.
I wouldn't do that.
Oh, well, there you go. That's a high-risk investment, which we shouldn't do. So we're somewhat limited into how we can allocate our funds. Now, to take your question a point further, perhaps by consolidating funds, instead of having a lot of small accounts, we can make it into one larger account, thereby getting a larger investment pool so we can gain more income on that. But that's not this
So
year.
is the idea to put it into a larger investment fund so you can invest in the stock
No, I didn't
market?
say. I said you couldn't possibly do that. I'm not
The monies would
suggesting
still be earmarked,
But
would be in one
you're-
account to
you're-
draw
we're
more
going
interest
off the
is
point
what
of
I was
your question.
suggesting. It's not, we're on a tangent at this point.
I'm not on any tangent, I want some answers. You got lots of money in the bank, you don't got any interest. If that's taxpayers' money.
Well, Article
it's sitting
4,
there.
Article 4 is talking about putting reserve accounts together, which has nothing to do with interest.
Just the DPW reserve.
Just
Correct.
exactly, sorry.
And we don't have to borrow money to buy a truck.
You got enough money in here, you shouldn't be borrowing money for
That
anything.
just sounds like Article 5, right?
It is.
Well, to hit that point, Anna, do we have any outstanding debts other than the water and sewer bond up on the north
Water
end?
and sewer bonds, you do, you should know that.
We have the
But do-
water and sewer bond, but
Isn't it-
I billed back the Route 7 users.
It's funded
to
by the
pay for
user.
that bond because we've already paid.
Do the taxpayers of the town have any outstanding debts?
We owe $9,000 for one outstanding loan, which will be paid off in July.
There we go. We'll be debt free by July. That's
We have no debt.
the financial picture of this town is a lot brighter than what Dick has just painted. I will
No,
say that.
that's not what I said, don't misinterpret it, I did not say that.
Okay.
I say you've got too much money sitting in the bank for what you need, and you're overtaxing the residents for it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, I'm not gonna touch that one.
All right.
Article 5.
No, any questions from the board? Let's go on to Article 5.
Article 5, shall the legal voters authorize the select board to spend up to $191,000 to purchase a new tandem truck for the Department of Public Works, using up to $100,000 of general fund balance and $106,000 of previously collected Department of Public Works funds, and to fund a replacement, its replacement at $19,000 a year for 10 years.
Questions from the public? The board?
No.
Okay, Article 6.
The last one has been on the ballot for a number of years, but is similar to previous years. Shall the legal voters authorize the select board to put $30,000 into the capital equipment reserve fund?
Questions from the public? Okay,
Just one question, why do you need to raise those funds? You got all that money in the bank now, what's the use of taxing the people more?
It has allowed us in the past when we've had an unexpected equipment failure to purchase something at a
You got
better
plenty of money to pay for it now.
Well, those funds are restricted among themselves, so this is
Right.
a general unrestricted capital reserve
Capital
fund.
reserve fund,
That's
yeah.
why.
The reason why we do it, Dick, I think, is to level taxes over the years, so that you don't have to go up and down for voter approval.
You're not supposed to overtax the citizens for what you need for a year. And that's what you're doing, because you're loading the bank full of money. They're using your money up there, not paying you no interest, and they're loaning that money out at higher interest.
I think
And
we're,
it's taxpayers' funding doing this.
Nick, if you'll recall, in the, I don't know, somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s, we began doing capital planning.
Yeah.
I think you were on the planning
The
commission
planning
at the
commission.
And what that does is that you have your expenses, but you're planning for replacement. So a lot of these funds are out of that capital planning mode, and so you're seeing that when we have equipment, we have money that is being held in reserve to replace that. Because that all came out of that capital planning that started in the 1980s, and so. Before that, there wasn't a lot of money in reserve, but you could get into a pinch where you had equipment that needed replaced, or you had expenses that were coming up, and you did not have the money to do it. So that a lot of that money's held in reserve as part of that capital planning, and so and you're aware of that.
I
know you are.
understand that, but when do you get to the point where you got too much, and you shouldn't be taxing the people out for it because you got too much
Well, that's a
money
good point, but
reserved?
I think that a lot of that is because they're planning for replacement of, like with the DPW, that's replacement, so that the money's there, so that the service continues and the equipment's still running, and so a lot of this is part of that capital planning.
I understand all this, the fact remains, when you get too much money in there as reserve.
That's a good question.
I understand fractional reserve banking, and how the bank takes that money and uses it, loans it out 10 times as much as what they got in reserve.
Yeah, but the interest rate, I wish we could call them up and say, hey, we need more money, we need more interest, but I don't think we can do that. Maybe we could, but I don't think we
understand the
can.
interest rate, I got clobbered for 8 years on 0 interest rate and CD. And that's what you got here, you got $500,000 running here, and you're only getting $1,700 a year for it.
Yeah. Maybe we can do something better, I don't know.
See, back years ago, $100,000 in the bank brought you in $5,000 interest a year.
But that was when,
That was before the big crash.
exactly,
Yeah.
I mean,
We hear you.
your real estate interest back then was 16%.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
Anyway.
1988.
Okay.
It was.
Right on.
Okay, move along.
2008.
Carrie, I guess
That's
that's
the
it.
that's the end of the actual articles. If there's any questions on the budget itself, this would be the time.
Yes, sir.
The option tax, how's that demonstrated in the budget?
Town report?
Your town report,
It's not in the budget.
or how's it shown?
It's right here.
What page is that?
Page 23.
23.
It's called the Infrastructure Development Fund.
Infrastructure development.
Right there,
Okay.
right where my thumb is, 2,000,001.
2,000,001. Okay. And that comes to us from the state, correct? The state sends it to us?
Yeah.
And do they give us an audit on that?
What do you mean an audit?
Do they audit us on it?
No, do they audit where that was collected and how that was collected?
Oh,
I'm sure they do, but for every dollar that someone pays in local option tax, the state retains 30 cents, and they're the ones auditing that.
Well, you know,
I remember
the garage
that. I
office,
remember that.
So they're auditing that and administering that. We don't,
How do we know we're collecting?
How do we know who we're
That we're-
collecting from?
How do we know we're getting collected?
well, you know, we have to assume that the state is getting its pound of flesh.
Well,
So your question is how do we know who they're collecting from? Who's paying?
who's actually paying it?
Okay,
and I don't think because of privacy laws, they would give that to us, because I asked at one point for specific business information, and
yeah, Kevin, they don't break it down from us as to,
I'm like,
They, I don't know why they don't, because it's broken down to them. On a monthly basis, it's broken
True.
down to them.
Each one who's paying it.
Everybody that pays it is
Yeah.
broken
Correct.
down to 1% from each individual business.
No, you
pays
pay
it.
your 8 or 9%, and you add 1% on top
You
of it.
pay your 9 or 10,
Right.
and you add your 1%.
Yeah. We get 1% of that.
You get
we
a
get
half,
our
you
1%.
get a percentage of that
We
1%.
get
Less
7%.
25%.
You get
Right.
7%.
7/10 of that thing.
and they have given us it broken down according to alcohol, rooms and meals, and you know the sales,
But
or
the
they
thing
call
is,
it other.
we don't have an actual knowing that anybody in the town is, how the town is saying, who
We
in
don't
the
know
town
what
is paying.
we don't know what your business
Maybe
is
somebody
paying.
decide, I'm not paying that way.
right.
Yeah, that's
So-
between him and the state. We don't
So-
get involved
Yeah,
with
because
that.
Well, that's not right.
they'll get penalized.
If they know,
So in other words, you don't even know if the state's giving you the correct amount of money back because you have no way to check it out.
You're correct.
It's
That's
an
right.
agreement we made
You're
when
right.
they
Not only
Which-
us, I mean, it's every town, every city in the state of Vermont.
which is wrong, which is wrong.
Well, I believe the
I
audit,
Oh, I
when this
agree.
first
I
came out,
don't
I fought
disagree
against
with you.
this thing. I fought against it hard because of these reasons. Because it is a windfall for the state. I don't know why, if we had the right people with the towns throughout the state, got together and said, we can do this on our own, and we can collect it on our own, just like you'd collect your property tax. And that way,
I'm not
we
so
can go-
sure we would even want to get into the,
Well, you
even
collect
think about
property
trying to
tax.
collect.
yeah,
collect
and
That's a little different. But
No
would
different.
you want to would you want every business person in town, subject to this tax, to make 2 reports, one to the state and one to us?
No.
Well, that's what you're.
You're gonna,
No, that's
you're
what
gonna-
the implication of your suggestion is.
No, that's not what he said. He wants
That's what
the
his
town to have
suggestion is.
exclusive on this, not the state. That's
You
what
want the
said.
town to collect it.
Doesn't want the state to
And for
handle
us to
it.
collect it, you have to report.
right.
Which
That's
would,
another report for you.
I at least, if you're gonna force me to pay,
Oh, we're
I
not
like to-
forcing you.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's government of the majority.
Right,
And
there you
it
go.
depends on who the majority is. And at this point in time, business isn't the majority. And it's never gonna
Anyway.
be. It's gonna be the payees and the guys that get received. What I'm saying here is, if you're gonna pay it, and you wanna keep it, and it's called a local option tax,
Yeah.
right?
it is.
Well, like Tom Brady probably would have liked a couple of more options. I'd like to see another option here, that we keep the money.
There is an option, we can review what that means. I think one town might be doing that in the state right now, so.
Because
can ask them about it.
if we're sharing this, the problem is it's not fair to the person that does pay this on a monthly basis, that it's not being audited, and the other people aren't paying their fair share.
So what you're saying, Kevin, is instead of giving that 30% to the state, why aren't we keeping it?
Why, not only aren't we, why we're keeping it, but why are we're not sure if we are collecting all of it.
Okay.
Do you have reason to believe that that's not the case, or that is the case?
I think
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I would,
absolutely.
any business that's doing business, I think in any town has to register their business,
Uh-huh,
correct?
right.
Okay.
But we don't know if they were adding on, we don't know what's going down to Montpelier and the rooms and meals tax.
You know,
And we
So,
don't know
did
if
they-
they're reporting their real sales,
So to Dick's point, we're taking what they give us for granted.
for granted.
All right, you get what they give you.
Yeah.
There's no way to you really, how do you check it and make sure they're legit?
Trust or verify, you gotta verify.
They're pretty slippery down there in Montpelier. They're bankrupt, you know, they don't care where they steal the money.
They bring up a good point. There's,
You know, if we're gonna play three-card Monte, I like a shot at it, you know, I like to, you know, I like to see it once in a while where the queen is.
okay, Kevin, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, so I guess that's it, and we'll
Yeah.
move on. So now we're good.
you wanna close that hearing
Yeah.
officially? It would be great just to clean it up.
So I move to close the hearing on the articles of,
Public information on the
Okay.
19 budget.
There you go,
All those in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
thank you.
Now we'll go into the warrants. Al?
sorry for the detour. I move that we approve the accounts payable warrant in the amount of $52,446.53.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Mr. Nyan?
Payroll,
Well, I have payroll warrants, I have 2 of them. One for the period February 12th to February 18th in the amount of $25,167.17. And the second one for the period February 19th to February 25th in the amount of $19,097.93. I move that these 2 warrants be approved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Sim, you've got some.
I have a request for payment to the Maple Run Unified School District for impact fees that are to be applied to the capital expenses of St. Albans Town Educational Center for fiscal year 2017 and 18, and we're budgeted an amount of $75,000. I move that we process this payment to the Maple Run Unified School District.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, so at this time, what we're going to do is we'll make a motion to recess the Select Board and convene as the Liquor Control Board.
Minutes.
Minutes.
I know you tried to do them earlier, but we cut you off.
Well,
Now, you need to go back.
I'll move. I'll move that we accept the minutes,
20th of February.
20th of February, 2018, as presented.
Those are the only ones we have?
Yes,
Okay,
they are.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved. Now we'll go into the liquor control. Board.
Yes.
Okay, so make a motion to recess the select board and convene as a liquor control board. You have the applications that we're going to review. Brendan?
Do we need to full vote on that, or?
We know,
Yeah, the list.
You
All
moved-
those-
We moved in, yeah, go on.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Go ahead, Brendan.
So I just have one license application for first and second class and outside consumption. It's the Elks Lodge, and I'll make a motion that we approve it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So approved.
For the record, I will be 21 in less than a month now.
Oh, with a laugh or cry. Now you can go to the Elks and use their license, benefit from their license, right?
Okay, now we'll close the liquor control board and reconvene as the select board.
So
All
moved.
those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Annual reviews. Tom?
Just done it.
Yeah, we just did that. That was kind of
So
the
Carrie,
liquor.
town manager's report.
The first one, Northwest State Correctional Facility update. We were informed by Lynn Dickinson late last week that the Senate Institution Committee was hearing some testimony on the Northwest State Correctional Facility. Al Gobey, this Director of Human Services, had scheduled a number of people to testify that day. I had a previous engagement and asked Al if he would go on our behalf, and he has a short yet informative report.
So I went to the meeting, and it was initially postponed because the Senate was in discussions over, I think, the, what are the bills? What?
I think it was gun control.
Gun control. And as their discussions went on, the chair came into the institutions committee room and announced that she was postponing the committee hearing until the 13th of this month. In that process, I had an opportunity, Lynn Dickinson introduced me to her, and I had an opportunity to invite her and the committee to visit St. Albans, and she was open to the idea of that. So when they convene again, the select board has asked me to attend that meeting, and I will reinforce that invitation. The purpose of my attending on behalf of the select board is to keep abreast of how that committee's thinking, what they're doing, and what problems it presents for us, our town, and so that we, the public, are always aware, and hopefully the committee will come here and we can have the community participate in a discussion with them. Yep.
What's the position on the select board in this prison out here?
We haven't discussed that, to my knowledge.
We have not discussed it yet.
We don't know what they're talking
We
about.
don't know.
so-
Well, you're either yes or no. I mean, you don't have to wait till what they're talking about. You're either gonna be against it or
Well,
for it.
yeah.
Well, the issue, I think, Dick, though, is that she told me that the committee itself has not settled on putting anything in St. Albans town. We do know that Al Gorbey wants to put some sort of forensics unit at the existing correctional center. So, if you will, that could be the possibility of starting a trend more and more. But at this point, she said, for the concept that the states present, or the executive branch is presenting, the committee itself has not heard any testimony. There is discussion amongst themselves whether or not St. Albans or Franklin County is the appropriate place. So, to your question about whether the select board should make a stance at this point, I think we should learn more so we don't burn bridges when we actually need to have a strong voice.
That's copping out. You're either for or against it. Capitulation here doesn't cut it.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
not capitulating for anything.
You could be for. I'd be for or against something if I knew what the hell the issue was.
We gotta know what
I
the
don't know what
issues
the
are.
I don't
We
think we
gotta-
need to turn this town into a prison town.
All
Or a
right.
prison economy. We got enough problems going on up here with the dope. And the cops and robbers economy here.
I hear you, and I think most of the people have that same sentiment. I think you can trust that the select board will hear that and represent that.
Well, most people haven't said it, I just did.
You're just one of several people who have talked to me.
I pay taxes and I got a right to say what I want.
I'm not disputing that. I'm saying
Okay.
I've heard it from other people.
Okay, enough on the subject, sorry.
All right. Okay, have a good evening, Bill. Good luck.
Good luck, Bill.
Good luck, Bill. Okay, Carrie.
All right. So the next item is just our little infomercial that we have.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You okay?
Go ahead.
One of the things that I hope that the select board, if they're gonna have hearings, I hope they'll have one here in St. Albans Town so the voters and the taxpayers can come down here and listen to them.
I don't think we'd have it any other way.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the reasons we started
Yeah.
getting notified of these things.
Sorry about that. I didn't see you with your hand up.
It's fine. The next one is our in-house infomercial that we are traditionally, we appoint people to the DRB, the Planning Commission, and a few various other positions in town. Usually beginning of April, sometimes that last meeting in March, which will now be March 19th. So if you have any interest to volunteer in town, I believe 2 people currently on the board, 1 person on DRB and 1 on planning. 1 person is not returning, but we have someone that's come forward. So I don't believe we have any open vacancies on DRB, or we have 1 on planning. So we're looking for some help. The Planning Commission meets twice a month. DRB generally meets about twice a month. We have staff to support both of those committees, so you're in an advisory capacity. You're not expected to work 40 hours a week for us. There's a small stipend we can offer to bribe, but we really do need citizens to help us in all of those different positions in town.
Okay.
And the last thing I was going to add, I said I was going to add something on there. We plan to sell, and I think that's what Alan can speak to more specifically, a 550. I sent you the ad in your packets. It's a used vehicle, needs an engine, but it still has some use as it has a plow on it. Probably needs some body work as well. So I don't know if you want to give the short.
It's the oldest one in the fleet. Usually when we trade them out, we always try to get a few more years out of them, using it for the Parks Committee. This has a blown engine in it. It's rotted. It's a 2008 diesel 550. It's going to cost too much to put an engine in it, and it's really not worth doing with the way the body is and that.
Is it frame rotted on it too, is it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking to put it out to bid to get rid of it. I mean, you could drag it to the junkyard, you're only gonna get a few $100, but somebody might be willing to try working on the engine or whatever.
Is it roadworthy?
No.
Okay, then.
Why should we sell it?
Why do we want to sell it then? That's a liability on our part, I would think.
I think you got a lot of people that have farms or sugar woods and big fields where they could use it to plow and have it off the
Sell it
road.
as is, and do that every day.
Yeah, we were just thinking for parts. I mean, we've done
Okay.
that with a tanker before, which,
You know, we're pretty clear with the
Absolutely.
problems that it's got, and that's up to the individual.
You said it's
whether-
got a 1-year-old transmission
Yeah.
in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
sell
a
for
few
parts.
bucks right there.
I mean, it's parts.
So by bidding it out, the town can get a little bit more revenue to put back in the bank than
Okay.
chunking them.
He sells a truck. Where does that revenue go? Back to his fund?
Yes.
Yes.
Back to his fund?
Yes.
So he can move it the way he needs, right?
For, yes,
Yeah.
for other DPW equipment, correct.
Statutorily, the DPW department is the only department that can
Roll
roll
money.
money.
Funds over here.
That's all I have under,
Good.
Got a question. I've seen some of his trucks over there, you know, and they're really rusted out. And a lot of it's caused by salt and this brine that you put on the roads. Is the select board ever gonna take a stand on getting rid of that brine because it's really eating up the vehicles? You know, new vehicles, these car dealers love it because it just eats them apart. The rotors, the discs, the brakes, everything, you know. So
I don't really think, you know, the brine adds to it, there's no doubt about that, but I think what DPW needs is a proper building to store and maintain their equipment,
and wash.
and that he doesn't have.
Yeah.
If we use salt and everything where I work, we have vehicles, those vehicles are washed and cleaned after every time they go out on the road. They're not in the condition that his are. His has to be used, they set outside, and they rot. He doesn't have the proper facility to take care of the investment that the town's making in the town, which is ridiculous.
I agree.
Yeah, but the flip side on this, and I brought pictures of my truck in here, it showed the Selectboard. I put it on the lift, the flash camera. The rot underneath my truck, I probably lost 3 to 4 years use of that truck because of the rust. And it's the brine that's causing it. Back in the 60s, we didn't have any problem. Where tractor trailers are going over Selectboard Mountain, they sanded the roads. They put that slop on the road now, there's no traction for the tractors. They can't make the mountain. And tell them to put chains on. They're lunatics. They don't want to put sand on the roads. They're absolutely nuts.
Alan, you got anything to add to that? Brine versus chains and sand and rocks and...
That's a touchy subject for me.
I was just wondering, your professional opinion.
I go back and forth with the state on the brine. I believe in the brine activating the salt and making it start up a lot quicker. It accelerates it. There is other products out there, but unfortunately, like you said, we do not have a wash bay in the proper area to clean our trucks after each storm, and that brine and salt sticks to the underneath and to your brakes, and it does depreciate the equipment quicker. But in the future, we will get a proper garage. And
We will, yeah. And I think
proper
what-
maintenance will be done.
I mentioned it before, you know, you're making investments in not only in vehicles and equipment and buildings. There's a PM that goes along with that, a preventive maintenance. Is protecting the investment that we made for and getting some longevity out of our investment. So that's what we got to do. I mean, I commend you for the way you do take care of the equipment that you do have because of the facilities that you have. You do a good job, but you can only do so much. And I think it's time that we I'm a taxpayer in this town, we as the taxpayers step up to the plate and start taking care of the investments that we're making in this town. Go ahead.
But you see, that's only half the problem. It's the environmentalists, the nutcases running your state government that tell you can't put sand on the road. That's the problem. That's why they got a problem with Selectboard Mountain. At the main corridor over there, the trucks are jackknifed, they're off the road because they won't put any sand on the road.
There's really no question.
And that's a state problem because they're telling you not to put sand on the roads.
Okay. All right. So, public comment. I guess we've... Go ahead.
I got a question. We still own the land that's the 72 acres on the Brigham Road.
We do.
Right?
Yes.
Is there a purchase and sales agreement against the property?
There is not.
There's not.
Not a purchase and sales agreement.
Well, you're saying there's not a purchase and sales agreement. Has there been any discussion with anybody to purchase it?
Yes, there has been.
Now, that needs to be made public.
Not at this time.
No.
Really?
Really?
That lot on the Brigham Road, that's where your new town garage needs to go, right near a railroad spur,
Yeah.
to bring in material.
We agree.
We are in agreement.
We're in agreement
Then what
with
are
that.
you talking about a purchase of sales agreement for?
So, do we need the whole thing, is what...
Yeah,
I
you need
guess-
the whole thing.
I don't think we
You're
do.
gonna need it for storage.
Yeah.
You're gonna need it for a lot of stuff. They got half the things with stuff on it right now. You're gonna need that extra capacity for storage in the future.
I don't think that we, honestly, Dick, I don't think that we need 78 acres.
That 78 acres is not gonna cost you a cent in the future, but you'll have it.
Yeah.
Dick, have you walked that property?
I can go on Flash Earth and I can look right down on that property
He
and
lives
see
right
the
next
whole
door.
thing.
I know.
I
Do
can
you-
look at every square foot on that.
Have you reviewed the state's most recent wetland delineation on that property?
I don't care what the state says. That's
You
where
have
the
to care what the state
That's where
says.
the drainage area is going to go. The drainage is not going to go down the Brigham Road to that railroad crossing. That's why the other plan was absolutely foolish, because the drainage needs, the elevation needs to pitch the water to the back of the lot. That's why you need the 71 acres.
Okay,
Okay.
noted. Thank you.
Well noted. Is there something you want to say, Sam?
Well, I wanted to bring up, we had discussion earlier about the town report, and there was an individual that was interested that there was the salaries were not posted in the report, and the question was that ever voted on by the voters to have those salaries posted in that report.
It was. In 1992, it was in the, one of the articles that the town authorized the auditors for the town and the school salaries to be put into the town report. That was in the days when we had elected auditors. I did not find any of the minutes in 1992 that this had passed. Having said that, in 1999, we voted to not use elected auditors anymore, but to go outside and hire a professional auditing firm to audit the town's records. But it's not a hard task to do. If the select board wants the salaries in that, we'll comply, and so be it. I don't think we can put the schools in. The school is a unified district now. They do their own town report.
School publishes theirs in their report, though.
Not this year, they did not.
They didn't this year?
No,
Oh.
this is the first year that they are
Wow.
a unified school district.
Oh, okay,
So they're guided by their own set of statutes.
okay.
Basically, what they published was their payment,
Audit.
their step grid, for
Okay.
it, and then they published names and salaries for anybody that didn't fall under that grid.
Okay.
It was
I
under
know
their master contract.
The town that I work with did publish theirs in their report.
The school.
Yeah.
I don't think Milton is a unified school district.
Oh, it isn't,
no.
it is, I
Right.
agree. It is not.
We are,
Yeah.
and they have their own report.
I don't see why we wouldn't publish it in the report. I mean, it's right to know anyways.
Certainly, and we can comply next year with that.
I think that'd be a good idea.
But like I said, I looked and looked and I could not find
Well-
any minutes.
But if it was voted on in 92, wouldn't they have included it in the report in 93 or 94?
I can look, yeah. But then in 1997, I don't think it was because, like I said, the voters voted to go to an outside auditing firm.
So we can sit here and discuss what didn't happen in the past, but we can correct it and make
Right,
sure it's
and
done in the
going forward,
future.
Certainly,
Okay.
certainly, yeah.
Yeah.
So
All
is
right.
are we going to have a general directive from the select board that the salaries be posted in the...
Going forward, rest assured, you can trust me, they'll be in there.
Want to make a motion or something?
Well, I want to make sure that if it needs a motion, that we have a motion to
Then
do that.
let's have a motion then.
So I'll move that we ask or authorize the town treasurer to report the salaries of all people employed by the town in the fiscal 19 budget annual report.
Any in
I
your,
think it will be
It'll be
the
the
fiscal
fiscal-
18 report.
Fiscal 18
Yeah.
report.
all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, so next meeting will be Monday, March 19th, and April 2nd. There's going to be an annual town volunteers dinner on August 9th at 5:30 at the Legion.
April.
Excuse me, April, at the Legion at 5:30. Please mark it on your calendar. Go ahead, Dave.
Can we make sure all town employees are given that opportunity to come, whether they're full-time or part-time?
Well,
are.
They are already
Sure.
included, I'm not sure I understand the point.
I didn't get the invitation.
We haven't sent them for
We
this
haven't
year
sent
The
them
yet.
last one. I never did.
You never got a physical? Oh, weird. All right,
Usually
you're on our
Jennifer's pretty
list.
good.
He's looking
You're on
for a
our
free
list.
meal.
I'm looking for a free
Done.
meal.
okay,
You're not really a volunteer, you're an employee though.
all right. So, okay, other business?
Move we adjourn?
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Give me a minute.